Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Late Night with Mike. I'm your host, Michael Dennis. Back here with Emery Johnson, co-owner of Three Tree Productions.
Hello.
We got DOS Solutions over here with Brandon Gould, the man behind the monitor, the legend, the myth, whatever you want to call him, or just the man.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, yeah, the man. Cheers. Happy Labor Day weekend, everybody. If you're not already, like, subscribe, hit that notifications button, hit the bell, so you can get follow-ups on our latest videos. Besides that, other things that we need to talk about is our email. So you know how I run through this every stream, and that's latenightswithmike@gmail.com. Facebook and Instagram, Late Night with Mike, and Twitter is Late Night W Mike.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
So, yeah, we're going to get into it today.
Is that the first time we've gotten it right so far? Or
Actually, that's the first time I haven't fucked it up, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. It's Labor Day weekend. We're hoping everyone is drinking responsibly and having a great weekend, having the day off tomorrow for most people. But today what we're going to be talking about is going to be our last year was pretty heavy.
Yeah.
So today we're going to kind of loosen things up and talk about drugs. We're going to loosen up a little bit. Not good drugs in a good way, but drugs in the community, how it affects people, possibly our past experiences with drugs and how it's affected other people.
Especially our community.
Yeah, our community specifically. So we're just going to dive right into it. So I mean, how should we start this, Emery? Where would you like to jump in on this? What's your biggest concern?
I mean, if we're going to talk about my specific experience with drugs, that's null and void because and I'm not going to bullshit just because this is a good community of people, to be honest. I've never done drugs before. Never smoked pot, never snorted cocaine. No, because my drug of choice was actually alcohol. So it kind of works.
So you consider alcohol a drug?
It depends on how it's used, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I would say from my experience in particular when I was in high school, the drug for me was alcohol.
Yeah.
Other people smoke pot, other people do different things. I always went to the bottle. So
the bottle. I like how you said that. I always hit the bottle. That was my thing.
And I'm still drinking, so
So he's an abuser of alcohol, which that is a real thing.
Yeah.
But luckily you're not that kind of guy. We're pretty good about this kind of stuff.
I think we have somebody who's a little addicted to the alcohol.
Who?
I guess.
We know. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we hope he's doing okay. And so alcohol for you, yeah. I mean, I've had my share. I've had my own even family experiences. Friends of for where we live out here in Simi Valley. The big one out here is heroin. Heroin's a really big drug out here. I've lost a few friends because of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal. It's a big issue. And it's become a bigger issue since I was a kid. It wasn't as big. This place used to be the second most safest place in the United States.
You know who has that crowned title now?
Who does?
Thousand Oaks, believe it or not. So just a few miles away, yeah.
Ah, you son of a bitch! This was our technical difficulties. If you follow us on Instagram, you like this shit? State-of-the-art duct tape on a wall. Look at this shit.
It's staying there, I promise.
We get it. Or hopefully we're trying to get rid of the echo for you guys. But we need to find a more soluble solution to that issue. Are you watching? Is it going again? You're giving me the look over there.
During the stream tonight, you're going to be able to track exactly how low our self-esteem is going based on how these panels are falling.
You're about to see what California looks like with earthquakes. You just got to see California's got the San Andreas faults. It's getting hard.
We're literally about to fall into the ocean, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we're about to be with those Hollow Earth people.
Mm-hmm.
With my people.
Yes. Yeah. Now, my people too. We deducted. We're from the same.
Okay, we're cut from the same cloth, eh?
Yeah. This cloth in particular, actually.
Not really.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with a Confederate flag.
No,
I don't know what
definitely
this is.
not.
I don't know where this towel came from.
It's something.
It's something. It's cut in half, so I don't know. I don't know what this flag. This isn't a flag. This is like a college or something. I don't know what that is. Arizona? Arizona, maybe? It's my grandparents' cloth from Arizona. I'm pretty sure.
So
back to heroin.
yeah, oh man.
So yeah, so it's Thousand Oaks owns the title now, huh? For
Yeah,
Sacred
Thousand
City?
Oaks, Westlake, the whole the Conejo Valley is like
Yeah.
the second safest community in the world.
It's crazy how that happened because me being naive, in high school, like when I heard about the heroin issue, I didn't know anybody like at that time like that was doing heroin until I lost somebody that was doing it.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was the thing. Until that happened, I was so oblivious to it, and then it's really important to see the signs and pay attention to people's lives and see what they're doing on the outside. If you know somebody, never hesitate to bring it up to them or bring it up to somebody that knows what to do with somebody that's got an addiction like that. Because if I had any information, it could make a difference.
Yeah,
it could
absolutely.
totally make a difference. I even have family members, who I probably should have said something I didn't, and now I have to deal with them going through their own struggles, and they're clean now, they're doing good, but it's an issue. It's a huge issue, and
Yeah.
it's always harder to stay off of it than it is to keep on with it.
I guess I'll start with my story first in regards to heroin. Like I said before, I've never done drugs. That doesn't
Yourself,
mean I've
yeah.
been around them.
Which is good. That's not a
Yeah.
bad thing.
Yeah, no,
There's something you can't live without. I mean, you've had Advil.
Brandon, can you go find somebody to bring me some like crack or something? I feel like that's a good, safe way to start with.
Yeah, showing the proper ways to. We're gonna go give in-depth,
Yeah.
descriptions of how to use it properly and
So
not abuse.
my story is I have a couple different friends and family members who have been involved in opiates. The closest one to me, not the closest, the most relevant story to me right now is because you and I are baseball players, and I've known a couple great athletes who have had their careers either stopped or destroyed because of doing drugs or whatever it is, but eventually making their way to heroin. There was a guy at Moore Park College my freshman year who I played through the entire summer league with, who I considered my friend at that point. And that was, I'm not going to say his name, but it was a friendship that I, in some ways, very much valued throughout the fall semester just because he was a good guy and I really liked him. He was a really nice kid, had a big heart, and in my opinion was a great baseball player. He was a really good outfielder. The guy had a great eye. He was very fast, 6'3". I mean, that's a baseball player.
Tall.
Yeah.
You're tall, but he was tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he started showing up to practice less and less. And it got to the point where I wasn't receiving text messages.
He went quiet.
Yeah, he got
so that's
quiet.
the first sign right there.
Yeah.
Lack of communication. They're trying to, be a little more quiet because
Yeah.
they don't want people knowing what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Either that or he just
Paranoia.
doesn't care at that point.
Yeah.
He's not that he doesn't care, but he's checked out.
Yeah, his priorities have changed.
And so what ended up happening is the guy never came back for the spring. He finished the fall out. I think he was at the last couple practices. He made it through cuts, so he's going to be on the team for the fall or for the spring. And what I found out is that he was kicked out of his house, had nowhere to live, and
Is that when he turned to it, or is it before that?
No, that
Is
was
why
after.
he was kicked
That
out?
was after he was well established with whatever he was taking.
Yeah.
And at that point, I didn't know, so I'm gonna leave that for later. I already said heroin, but just
Yeah.
for point's sake. So at that point, I had no idea, and so I considered myself losing a friend at that point. But what I found out is that the guy was kicked out of his house after his parents had found out, and that he was no longer, he was no longer welcome at home, and he didn't have the money to keep up to go to college and that. So he started working, and so he was working to support his habit and wherever he was living, and then eventually he just kind of dropped off the table altogether and moved out to the desert. To this day, I don't know what the guy's doing.
You don't know where he is, what
No.
he's doing. Yeah, so that's scary.
No, and he posts on social media every once in a while, but I don't think he's posted in over a year at least.
Jeez.
And
So you just haven't heard a word from him since?
Yeah,
He
no,
just, he just went off the grid.
well, I saw him at a gas station like a year ago,
Oh, wow.
and it was the one over by Moore Park College. I'm like, hey man, what's going on? And he's just like, oh,
You're still here, huh?
yeah.
what have you been doing?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not judging you.
I've been struggling going to school playing baseball, but you know.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, dude, you should just like do heroin. Like, what are you doing? Like,
Well, yeah, and then he's like, "Oh man, we should go get a beer sometime." I'm like, because that's
you should be staying away from everything.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know.
I don't want to be doing that stuff with you.
Yeah, but it's one of those situations where I look at a guy who's really talented at baseball, and because that's how I see things through my eyes. Is I go, how can you help make your life better? One of the ways that I see for myself is either you go to college, but mainly baseball. Baseball can take
It keeps you out of it, yeah.
Well, it keeps you out of it. It can take you places in your life.
I think that was a big reason why I never got into drugs, really. Like, I mean, like during baseball time, like in high school and everything, like what kept me away from all that stuff. Because I mean, when I wasn't playing baseball, like totally, like I was around it all the time.
Yeah.
I could find anything I wanted, get whatever I wanted, and everyone around me was doing it.
Yeah.
Not heroin, but I mean other drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we'll get into classifications of what drugs, we're talking about. And,
Yeah.
Heroin isn't the only thing that can ruin lives, people. There's plenty of other drugs that can do it. There's plenty of other addictive drugs out there. And there's some that aren't even deemed drugs, that, maybe you should take seriously or you shouldn't. But yeah, I mean, when I was in middle school to high school, I knew plenty of kids, but when I played baseball, I was never around them because I was with, all my baseball friends, and, we all strive for the same goal, we all had the same things in common, and it kept you away with that. But once baseball's over, you're not playing, then you're hanging out and you're going with peer pressure and you're hanging out with these kids at school and stuff, and all of a sudden you're seeing like, whoa, there's like a whole other side of the world here that I'm not seeing, and then you start seeing it, and then obviously the peer pressure comes in and whatnot, and it causes people to make mistakes, and if you like it, that's the problem with drugs. Is there's not a drug out there that people don't like. That's the thing, is there's a drug for everybody out there, and if you find that drug, unfortunately, you're a lot more susceptible to getting addicted to it because you like how it feels. And at first, it's like, wow, this is really helping me out. Like, I was really stressed out. Like, I was depressed, and now I'm not depressed anymore. Like, this drug feels great. And then all of a sudden, it turns into, oh man, I really want more. I want more. I want more. All of a sudden, you get a dependency on it, and all of a sudden, it's starting to ruin your life more good financially.
Yeah.
And then those problems that you were having that you thought it was helping out with, all of a sudden, now it's like, oh crap, this wasn't fixing the problems. This was just, this was just making me ignore the problems. And so then when they got to deal with the problems, like, oh, I'm stressed out again. So they go back to the drugs even more, and they're like, oh, cool, I don't have to face my problems if I just keep doing the drugs. And then all of a sudden you realize you're an addict, and you're in the fucking hole.
Well, I think for me personally, the reason why I never even dabbled in that world is because I knew how addictive of a personality I have.
Totally.
I had already chewed in high school tobacco, and I already knew that I liked that. And people go, oh, that's gross, how could you ever do that? Well, if you don't smoke tobacco or chew tobacco, you don't understand.
You don't understand what it's like. Yeah, you don't understand how much you want to just jump on it.
It's a good buzz.
Yeah, it's a great buzz.
It's a great buzz. And I also knew that from alcohol.
Choice.
I also knew that about alcohol for myself. Is like, I like this. I could drink this more. I could do this more often. So I always had that line where it's like, I'm not going to even bother because I know I'm going to spend 10 times more money the moment I find something that I like to do. Yeah. And for a lot of guys,
you already know those things aren't good for you at all whatsoever.
No.
Imagine if you jumped up a notch. And did some real stuff. I mean, for me, like I know so many people that spend so much money on weed. Mm-hmm. And whatnot. Is imagine having that tobacco habit and then having that marijuana habit.
Exactly.
Too. It's like, oh my god, I just spent like $40 like this week on tobacco. Now I'm spending another $80 on marijuana.
Yeah.
And then those are the cheap. That's a cheap drug.
Yeah.
You start rolling with cocaine or ecstasy or Molly or lean. What the fuck are kids doing?
Molly.
I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know what lean was.
Those club drugs and even cocaine are the big thing at Westlake where I went.
Really?
I mean, that's all the rich kids there. They can afford those habits.
Yeah.
Because they got daddy's or mommy's credit card and they pull cash whenever they want.
I was curious. What do you think about this? I didn't mean to interrupt you, but back to your first point about your friend that you met whose parents kicked him out.
Yeah.
Do you agree with his parents kicking him out? Do you think that's the right thing to do if you're a parent? Like, I've dealt with that similar thing where I knew a guy whose parents kicked him out over that, and I feel like that doesn't help at all. To a degree, but also, I mean, you don't want that in your house, obviously. But if it's your kid, like, are you gonna try and go get him help after you kick him out? Are you gonna or are you just saying good luck to you? Once you get your shit together, you can come back? Because I've never seen anyone wow, my parents kicked me out. I should stop doing drugs now. It's like, wow, it's making them want to do drugs more because now they're even more depressed. They're like, wow, I'm such a loser. Even my parents don't want to help me. Like, you know, you need some type of support system to go to. And
I'll give you a perspective of my brother's best friend when he was growing up in high school. This guy had an opiate problem. He got involved with the wrong people in high school. He dropped it. He didn't play soccer. He's a great soccer player.
Yeah.
Went to Thousand Oaks High School. And my brother went to Westlake, so that's when they split off, because they were best friends all throughout their childhood, and they split off.
I noticed you're wearing a Bulldogs polo. What's that about?
Fresno State. You know, it just matches the hat I'm wearing.
I see that. You are matching pretty well today.
I try.
Yeah.
I really try.
Yeah, you trimmed your neck beard. He's looking really good for you guys today.
It's all for the fans.
Stop.
Hey, fans. This is all for you.
Son of a bitch.
So, going back, as my brother's best friend, his parents didn't kick him out. They put him through rehab.
Oh, good.
A couple times.
Yeah.
It wasn't just one time, and he was kind of up and down.
Was this with the heroin?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't with heroin, but it was with opiates. It was Oxycontin.
Okay. Oh, pills. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the good stuff. The prescribed shit.
Oxycontin is the same level, as far as we know, of high that you're going to get from heroin.
Yeah, you got two different types of drugs. You got the stimulants and you got the depressants. You know,
yeah.
And you got the uppers and the downers. You know, so some people are downers, some people are uppers.
Yeah.
And,
Oxycontin, since it is an opiate, it's the same type of upper as heroin. So his issue was with pills. But
is it an upper? I thought it was a downer.
No, it's an upper.
A downer?
It's an upper.
I thought it was just because it makes people go to sleep. You figure it's a downer.
The reason why I think it's an upper is because it causes your brain to release the hormones and
I know what you mean. Like
Oxytocin.
What was that? Be
Oxytocin.
Oxytocin, yeah,
okay.
And dopamine and endorphins.
Okay.
So if it makes your nervous system hyperactive, then it's an upper.
Okay.
Alcohol is a depressant.
For sure, yeah.
Tobacco, depressant.
Muscle relaxers, yeah.
Yeah, muscle relaxers.
So,
so kind of a different take on this is not necessarily what it makes you do, but what it makes your brain do.
What makes your brain feel, yeah.
Yeah.
How it responds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I found it interesting in a health class I took when I was in Kalinga. We talked about how coffee can be both.
Yes.
It can start out as a stimulant. It could be an upper in the beginning. You know, you get that caffeine high or whatever. But the more you do it, the more your tolerance gets to it. If you don't continuously do more and more, then it becomes a depressant and actually puts you more tired than you started out.
Yeah.
Because
it depresses your system unless you have it. Then it brings you back to an equilibrium, and your body becomes reliant on an external source of caffeine.
Which is why people end up doing more and more drugs and not less, because they're starting to get depressants out of it, and they need more of an up and more of an up, more of an up.
And
as their body.
Personally, I think that's my argument with marijuana. I consider myself very much in the middle on that.
I'm not a fan. I mean, I've done it plenty of times. Don't get me wrong. Like, I've done it tons of times, but it never did it for me. It never. It bugged me. Mm-hmm. It irritated me. Like when I would do it, like it would make me itchy, or I'd be paranoid, or I'd be hungry, or I was always in a different mood.
Yeah,
I didn't like it. It would either keep me up too late, or it'd make me want to go to sleep early, and I get nothing done. It made me lazy, or it made me not lazy, but it made me irritable.
I think the most common drug in the world is probably pot, at least in the United States.
Yeah.
I know for a fact it is.
Because it does less damage than alcohol.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the big thing right now.
That's one of those things is like, we'll knock that out immediately. That's not why I would be against marijuana. The reason why I'd be against marijuana is mainly because the people that it affects, they become reliant on that to feel normal. And I know more than a handful of people. I don't care who you are.
And I'm not one of those people. I couldn't function when I was on it. And I'd see buddies smoking every day, all day, like it's cigarettes.
And the interesting thing is, unless they smoke, they're not functionable at that point. And so that's where you're looking at a situation where this is a drug because it's
kind of like dumbstruck.
Yeah.
Like I don't get it. It's like almost they have like a freaking mental issue.
Exactly. So, and that's not counting. So the other side of the argument is the mental, or the health positives to it.
Yeah,
because it's a great painkiller, and there's a lot of things about the drug
for chemo patients and people with cancer in general.
Exactly, and it's natural. So when you're looking at the effects of it has no acute health effects, it might have prolonged health effects, but it has no acute health effects. That actually might be a great thing. And I'm in full support of full research for medical purposes.
Yeah, as long as it shows benefit.
Yeah.
Good benefit. I mean, but that's the crazy part is like all drugs, they started out looking for benefits.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how all drugs came to be. Speed. You know, I mean, people with Adderall conditions or ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people with those conditions. I mean, that's where a lot of these drugs came from.
Yeah.
And a lot of them turned into, people abusing the crap out of them, and all of a sudden now they have to, either give you smaller dosages or they're illegal now, like cocaine, I mean, ecstasy was, that's originally used, was it for clubs and shit?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it was, to help your serotonin levels, to get you, people that are depressed, make them happy.
Yeah.
And people abuse.
Yeah. Well, it brings up a point.
Not. MDMA, I believe, is the actual,
I will
ecstasy.
say, I actually have done drugs before.
What?
I was 8 years old.
Whoa, dude, you started young.
My parents and a couple of teachers at my elementary school thought I had ADHD.
Okay.
So I was on Adderall at 8 years old.
Jesus
And
Christ.
talking
That's
about...
a big topic right now.
Yeah, that's...
Are boys just boys, or like Bill Maher? It's like, is a boy just a boy, or like does he actually need pills? Do we need to be feeding this kid pills, or?
And that's where I'm completely against.
Yeah.
I know there's some kids who seem like they're out of control. I for sure was one of those. I mean,
I was having to exercise.
Well, that was the thing. Is at recess or whatever it was, I definitely for sure was not getting enough types of exercise. But I still believe that young boys are very physically active at a young age, and some of them just have more energy than others. And I got to a point, this is why I eventually was off the drug, was because I came home one day from school, and my dad comes home from work, and I'm sitting there at the dinner table doing my homework. My dad walks in. He's used to seeing a hyper, happy young kid.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there just doing my homework.
Zoned out.
Exactly. And he goes, "Hey, Emery, how are you doing?" And I'm, "Hi, Dad. How are you today?" And that freaked him out.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want his 8-year-old boy to be a pill-popping zombie.
Yeah.
Just because he made my grades better.
We're looking good. Go on.
We're looking good.
I had to double check. I saw the blue. I was like, I need to look at this.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Yeah. No, that's what I wonder too. Is especially for that issue, it's like they're kids. Like they're supposed to have a good time. They're supposed to be smiling. They don't have responsibilities, and they need to develop, and they need to learn what's hot, learn what's cold. Get their senses down and everything. If you're doping them out, when they're still trying to figure out how their brain is even working and developing. If you drug it out, then they don't know how to deal with issues. They're dealing with when's the time to get serious? When's it okay to play? When is it when's the time to be up? When's the time to calm down?
Yeah.
And you're drugging that development process. So I mean, I find that huge.
Well, I eventually learned that once I got
pharma industry.
Yeah. That's another conversation of its own. But I eventually learned on my own in high school, in the later years of high school, how to be more mature, especially when it came to regimenting times of pleasure and times of work. So, I think that's a very valid point when you say, kids should learn on their own as opposed to being, a work zombie at 6 years old.
Yeah.
Because little boys are not meant to do that.
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean I've seen kids with too much. I mean, and when you think about it, we're the most obese country on the planet, and instead of including more exercise into people's diets and whatnot, I mean especially with kids, I mean child obesity is an issue too in America, and these kids are all hyped up that they might even be overweight. I don't know what the percentage of how much of those kids that they're throwing on ADHD medications are overweight. That should be a study that somebody should be looking up. Brandon, you should actually probably look into that. If you could look into that, kids with ADHD that are overweight. See if there's a study for that.
Yeah.
Because if we figure out that number, maybe there's a common factor here. Maybe it's because he's not moving around enough that he's gaining weight.
Yeah.
And you're putting him on pills, so he's going to gain even more weight, and he's not going to learn how to exercise properly and be healthy and have just a better attitude at life.
Yeah.
And he's going to end up being this drugged out zombie until he's at what age they say he gets depression because he can't lose weight, and then all of a sudden he wants to go to other pills. And I think that's where a lot of drug addiction starts. these kids are getting it early too.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting it early, especially if you're throwing a kid on, you know, a low dosage of speed or whatever it
And
is.
they're completely dependent on it.
Yeah, and
To-
they
to
think they're not
function.
normal. They think they're not normal, and that they can't function without it, and they're
Yeah.
already starting an addiction that might have even been prior, even genetically. Like, you know, their parents might have had drug issues in the past, in the past, and you know they don't know how to deal with it. You know, just like, you know, their grandparents or whatever. You know, so genetically, I think that could really fuck up people if they
Yeah.
don't have that. And
Very much so.
I'm really curious about that. I think that's a study that, I mean, shit, I might have to do that for a class or something.
Yeah.
I got some courses.
That's a great term paper.
Yeah, that'll be a good
Topic.
good little research study. You find anything, Brandon? How's Google treating you?
Talks about depression with children, adolescents.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big
Um,
one. I can tell you for sure, I was going through a phase where I would be coming home with a headache because I was coming down from drugs. Like,
That's not healthy at all.
no, you shouldn't have your.
Then they throw you on another pill to get rid of the headaches. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, throw some Advil.
And here's the thing: is I was a.
I was going to say, it says that the study, where'd it go? Positively contributed to emotional eating and bulimia nervosa symptoms.
Well,
However, neither emotionally eating nor bulimia symptoms was related to BMI in children. So it sounds like a kind of a mixed review of how it affects kids.
How drugs affect kids? how-
ADHD medication.
How it affects kids?
yeah, causing an eating disorder or a bulimia disorder. So
It depends on the age, the sex, you know.
yeah, there's a lot of factors. I'm sure
Yeah.
that would be an interesting study to conduct in specifics. You
Like,
know,
is it
looking-
because they're overweight that they're more or less energetic?
Yeah,
And if that's the case, are pills really the issue that they need, or
Yeah.
you know, or the solution to the issue that they have, or is it exercise could be the solution to that?
yeah. I mean, the other issue is like,
Because I mean, they've even shown like exercise helps kids with their test scores.
Yeah.
I mean, schools have done that. You know,
Yeah.
that study. I've learned about that in school myself.
well, the other issue is like not every kid is the same, and I'm tired of the constant just
Let's throw them all into a group and throw pills in their face, or
Well, not even that.
Not
Just you look at elementary school and how it's structured, and kids are now being forced to look at.
we're cows, dude.
Huh?
We're cows. We're graded
Exactly.
A, B, C, D, F.
Look at the way that society has progressed
It's our grade of food.
for the last 20 centuries. Man has had to survive on its own with no aid at all up until this
Yeah,
last.
nobody was overweight.
No, the
Back in-
20th to the
Yeah.
21st century, overweight was before that. Overweight was a sign of wealth and success.
That was-
Because you could afford the food. Previous to that, you're 5 years old and gathering berries with the rest of your family to survive.
yeah.
And so I find kind of fault in the idea of you're forcing people and.
Go on. Okay.
Okay. You're forcing kids to do something that they shouldn't necessarily do at that age, which is start learning. And I'm not saying that education is bad for children, but we are at a point in society where we are kind of changing the culture and ethics of the way that mankind has continued to survive for the last centuries. And we've made it so easy to the point that you're now getting issues because you're trying to force people into a system that they were never originally supposed to go through. So it's not that I disagree with education, it's that I think the motive behind it is correct, but the avenue in which we go through teaching people to do the language, to speak the language, to do math and anything else.
God, I hate math.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
Math is an awful thing. Brandon, math's an awful thing, isn't it?
Ugh, math.
Why? Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, I think getting into kids into other things too. It's like, you know, like school can be such a basic bitch.
Mm-hmm.
It can be such a basic bitch, and they're trying to cut art programs and everything where it's showing, you know, more creativity out of kids, and it's showing a lot more like better health, you know, for them.
Yeah.
And it's associated with, you know, creative development, critical thinking and whatnot, you know, when it comes to sciences and things. It's like, if we don't have this imagination, if we don't do things to do that, I mean, we're literally just going to be like cows in,
Yeah.
you know, on a farm or in a, you know, and whatever the hell those things are called, they're just beating the shit out of cows and shit.
Slaughterhouses?
Slaughterhouses, thank you, God.
Beating the shit out of cows?
Yeah.
No, it's not really beating the shit out of them. It's just kind of walking them down the line until they go zzz.
Oh, God, it's awful. Anyways. But, I mean...
Meat is murder.
Meat is murder.
Just kidding. I love venison. In fact,
talk about vegans.
I can't wait to go hunting again so I can...
Honestly, the only like company I could talk about... We're going on tangent right now, but the only thing I could talk about, like, honestly, and maybe we'll talk about this after the break, is Foster's Farms. And how, like, terrible they treat their chickens and shit.
Okay.
Like, have you seen the videos for that? Oh my God.
I don't care.
That's fair. We'll get into that in a bit, guys. We're going to go on a break. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll be back to you guys in about 5 minutes. All right? Catch you in a bit. Hey, welcome back, YouTube.
We're back, bitches.
We're back, baby. If you're not already, subscribe, like, comment, enjoy your thing. You know, enjoy. We're talking about drugs, and Emery had the audacity to not care about these poor turkeys and chickens, these gobblers.
Oh, now there's turkeys involved?
Huh?
Where
Oh, no, there's
turkeys
turkeys involved? Whoa. Man, I'm not discriminating against the turkeys, alright? They're a proud race of birds.
Have you ever seen turkey hunting by any chance?
I've seen, like, what do you mean?
Like bow hunting for turkey.
Yeah.
It's
Sick.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty
like
cool.
they do the turkey call and their head goes up and they're just...
See, like, I think we talked about this, like, on one of our previous streams. Like, I'm totally down to, like, go hunting. Like, for, you know, yeah, sure. Turkeys, quail, or what are they called? Quail? Yeah, quail or, a boar.
Shotguns?
Yeah, roosters. With shotguns?
Yeah, quail.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But yeah, I'd love to do that, but I don't think it's chill, like, throwing, like, 1,000 chickens in a dark room since they're born and not letting them see sunlight and then slaughtering them. That's kind of fucked. You know what I mean? Do you feel me?
Do you like chicken?
Love chicken. It's delicious.
Do you want to stop eating chicken?
Never.
Then in order to keep up your habit of eating
They
chicken...
can do the same exact thing they're doing without putting them in a dark fucking room. There's no reason for them to have to do that.
Stop. It was fine when I touched it.
Nailed it.
Soiled it! You soiled it! Cheers, by the way.
Cheers. This is Johnny Walker, 12th year.
Yeah, black.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Johnny Walker
Black label.
12 years age. Courtesy of me.
And Three Tree Productions. They're
Yeah, we
feeling
bought
it.
that bottle for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, he's not making that up. So, drink responsibly. Drink responsibly. It's good though. It's smooth. But yeah, but don't you think they could do the same thing? They could do the same exact thing that they're doing now, but just give them a lit-filled room. At least let them see what fucking grass looks like, you know? Is that too much to ask for, Emery?
It tastes better, I'm going to be honest.
It's better when they have the fear of God in their eyes before they go.
No, I'm saying it tastes better when they're able to run around. I completely agree. If you've ever had a naturally raised like steak,
Grass-fed or
grass-fed steak versus
like commercial fucking grade shit.
completely different, completely different in quality and flavor. Like especially when you go to like good barbecue places. There's this place in down
Outback
Topanga
Steakhouse.
Canyon.
No? Go on. What's about Outback Steakhouse?
Oh,
Outback
Okay.
Steakhouse.
not Topanga Canyon. What's the other canyon in Agora?
Dude, there's so many.
Takes you to
canyons.
Zuma.
Canaan?
Canaan, yeah, Canaan.
Canaan Canyon?
There's
I don't
one.
think that's what it's called. Is it called Canaan Canyon?
Cane Road.
Yeah, Canaan.
Yeah, it's
Just
road,
when you
right?
take Canaan through. There's this place called the Old Place. It used to be a post office back in like the
Wait, what's this old
1800s.
place called?
It's actually called the Old Place.
Yeah, the old place. What's it called?
Is it near the new one?
Where's the new one at? Yeah. Oh my god.
You're the reason I drink.
Smooth.
It is.
Oh, it is. I was honestly just faking that. It is good. I like it.
It's a sipping. It's a sipping
Squat.
whiskey.
Yeah, it's a chugging whiskey.
Yeah. Check. Every sip you take.
Am I the asshole?
You're asking the viewers or me?
Yeah, the viewers. Is he? an
You're
asshole?
viewing us.
Because the answer is yes.
I'm not wrong. What's up, viewers?
What's up, fans? So
By the way, shout out to Emery over here's professor, who's been watching, by the way. Right?
yeah,
At least you say yes.
yes,
Appreciate you, bro.
yeah, my
Preach.
friends, we love you.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say is the Old Place. They got 100% natural beef. They know where the steers actually come from, and they're all raised. They're all born raised.
They're a
and
bunch of
killed.
prima donnas. Yeah.
Yeah, they're primos,
Yeah, they're primas.
and the leather is most likely cut into Rawlings leather. I guarantee you.
Oh, dude. Oh, let's talk about Rawlings leather.
Yeah,
How great that is. The
Yeah.
smell, the texture,
the feel.
the feel.
I mean, you can tell the moment you put on a Rawlings glove, especially the older Heart of the Hides. Oh, talk about a glove. Back in 2006 and 2008 was really when Heart of the Hide gloves were on the up and up. And talk about the feeling of just... I still have one.
That's one thing I love about being left-handed is the fact that there's not as many lefties out there.
Yeah.
And I feel like they take extra care of our gloves because they don't have to produce as many of them. So they're like, hey, we can take a little more time with this.
I don't know.
I honestly have no idea if they actually do, but that's what I like to believe.
I'm just going to say, my glove is one of the nicest gloves I've ever...
I love Rawlings. I've always loved Rawlings.
Yeah.
Wilson's all right, but I feel like they do cheaper jobs.
But I've had newer Pro Preferreds and even a Primo in between the time that I bought my first Heart of the Hide.
That word again, Primo. Primo.
It's the actual like name of the product.
I just like that word. Primo.
My point being is that, like, man, the leather quality is so high, it's great.
Would the leather quality be just as good as those cows were treated like shit?
Most of the gloves that you buy are from the cows that are treated like shit.
No,
I know for a fact.
I was just asking a question.
Yeah. No, and I know for a fact that the Rawlings leather...
leather doesn't mean shit. I mean, well, actually, it could. It could. I mean, leather, it's their skin, right? So, I mean...
Yeah, but it has a certain amount of fat and oil content. That's in
so
it.
I mean, like, if like they were like fed right and like raised right, like that leather,
you get better leather.
Probably better, yeah.
No, it's true, you do.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to gloves.
I wonder what it would be like if like we had like healthy raised cows. I wonder what that glove would look like, or how it would feel.
Well, that's the top tier Rawlings
the
gloves.
most expensive ones are probably.
Are
like,
better.
This was made by a grass fed cow.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
You think I'm joking?
I don't think you're joking. I just think that'd be funny if they put that on the label. Like this cow was grass fed before we use this fucking skin as leather. It's like, yeah, my Rawlings glove paid like $1,000 for it. Cow's grass fed. Yeah, it says on the label. You know.
Yeah.
Compared to like, no, this one was in a.
You can feel better about having a glove too. But like, it's interesting because most other companies on the cheaper end. Usually use those same mass-produced cows in their gloves.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to produce a baseball glove like that. And so when you look at the quality and the texture of the leather that you get from... I'm not necessarily saying Rawlings in particular. Rawlings is the one that I have the most experience with. But there are other high-level gloves. There's a company in Japan called Kubota Slugger. SSK, the higher end gloves that they all have, the professional grade
with
ones,
dolphin.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, anyways.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we agree. So you agree with me then? It'd probably be better if they just gave them some goddamn sunlight, like all the animals that they're slaughtering.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah.
It's just the space that it takes up in order to do that is very high.
I get that it's cheaper and that it's quicker manufacturing and whatnot.
Well, if you want the price of meat to go up, then you want them all free range. But if you want the price of meat to stay available for everybody, your common American,
but wouldn't that help? Like, wouldn't that help with our what the fuck is the phrase? Planet Earth starving, right? Like, we have people that can't get fed. Wouldn't it be better if we did it that way though?
No, that's what I'm saying. Is the contrary argument is the fact that when you save space and you're able to have more head per square foot in regards to chickens, then at the end you're able to feed more people for a lower cost.
And here's what I was thinking: it's like, what if I just bought my own chicken? What if I bought my own coops? What if I made my own eggs? And what if I had like a goat or a cow or whatnot? And I just made my own food. Why couldn't every person why don't we just make that like a requirement? Like, why can't we just do that?
This goes back to my argument of
growing our own crops and whatnot. Like,
this goes back to my argument.
I'm pretty sure that shit's regulated.
Of kids and adults nowadays are being taught something counterculture to what mankind has done.
We should be taught how to farm.
Huh?
We should be taught how to farm. It's sick.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're taught to go work in an office.
Yeah, because that's what keeps the money flowing.
Exactly.
Yeah, computers running and
we're not being taught to be self-sufficient. We're being taught to be sufficient or dependent on other people in order to make money.
Yeah, no shit. Depending on others to keep the world spinning.
Mm-hmm.
They keep our heads down and go to work in an office. And don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, we should have people like looking up into space. Like, like if we want to keep human beings alive, which I think is a far shot. It's not impossible. I don't think it's possible. I don't think any of us do, but I think it's a far shot that we're gonna get off this planet and start a civilization out there.
Yeah.
It's not as far fetched as we think it is.
No, absolutely.
But if we're gonna do that, we need to be good at farming and shit.
Yeah.
Like we need to be good cultivators and good economists.
And that's the thing is, it's being taught now in college is how do you cultivate a crop, in harsh
when you have
conditions.
like that movie The Martian, like perfect interpretation of that, like, and that was a great representation of what it would be like if you had like no resources to work off of and to grow your own food to try and cultivate and to survive in a place where you're not supposed to. And in Interstellar, another space movie, and he was even like in that movie, Matthew McConaughey's character was like, yeah, we just ran out of food.
Yeah.
Like, we needed to find food and we couldn't, so
we froze ourselves until somebody would find us.
It was like, so we were fucked.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's really important that people should be able to know how to.
You want to know something stupid?
I should have bought that goat in Kalinga, but what?
I met somebody at the university I was going to. Not going to say their name.
Yeah, you were.
But she thought The Martian was a real movie, like based off of a true story.
I wish it was. That would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be cool, but seriously,
but like you really think we're that far along? Yeah.
She thought it was past.
There's people still arguing that like we never even got like off the ground. So I mean,
there's people arguing that Earth's flat. I mean, we gotta.
It is.
Mike,
sorry.
Your argument was already destroyed. Episode 1. Come on.
Episode 1. We're 6 episodes in. This is our 6th episode?
Oh, God.
Dude, we're over a month of fucking podcasting. Wow. We're doing great, guys. We're having fun.
Over 6 hours of just pure bullshit.
Are we still enjoying ourselves doing this? I think I'm still enjoying myself.
I love it. No,
I'm still hot as fuck in this room. But I'm having fun. That's
because of that light right there.
And, I mean, I think we can all agree the stream's getting better.
Oh, my God.
Now you really fucked it up.
Cut.
Don't show the tape. Cut it. Cut it.
Live.
Cut it. Cut the tape. And all of a sudden you see the screen go. And,
oh, man.
yeah, man, dude, this would be crazy. About a month and a half in? Jeez, what's gonna be our anniversary date? This is my anniversary with my girlfriend. What was our anniversary date for the podcasting?
No fucking clue.
We need to figure that out. We're gonna have a celebratory, anniversary date for the streaming. Like get really stupidly drunk off of chocolate milk.
Right.
Yeah.
This show has given me a reason to get intoxicated every single week, so I appreciate
This is
everybody.
literally like a distressor. It's a scientific fact that men need at least like 1 day a week.
Yeah.
With the boys to like
Absolutely.
decompress their minds.
So instead of Saturdays,
So we're all about health here.
Saturdays,
Especially me. 'Cause
Sundays
I'm
are
a
for the
boys.
boys. No.
Sundays are for the boys, yeah.
And Jesus.
Day of rest. Yep, day of rest for Jesus.
Hallelujah.
Brandon, y'all need Jesus.
I'm Jewish now.
Jesus was a Jew.
Yeah. Just have fun with your friend Jesus. He wants to be your friend. According to the Torah, Jesus was.
Tortillas? I love tortillas.
Oh my God! Tortillas with some tacos. Oh.
Taquitos?
You know what's funny is we were playing baseball
Corn
in the
tacos.
Midwest a couple of summers ago, and there are people who actually talk like that about Mexican food.
And I bet down south, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh,
Maybe
not down south.
Maybe not south. 'Cause
No,
they're
the
closer to
Midwest.
Mexico,
I'm talking Oklahoma up,
Oklahoma with the green grass. Yeah.
where the wind comes sweeping through the plains.
What's that song from? I learned that as a kid.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping through the plains.
He knows it.
I don't know the rest, but I know it.
Sorry.
I know it.
Man, this is good scotch. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wish I would have grabbed a beer though. I need another drink.
Well,
Could you grab me a beer, please? I know you're very busy back there, but I'm getting a little thirsty and I'm sweating balls.
does this make you feel cool?
That does actually a little bit.
Open up.
Who the fuck do you you think you are, man?
Wow!
Slapping the bus. Yeah. So let's see. We talked about drugs a little bit. I feel like we didn't get in depth about drugs.
Drugs are bad.
Drugs are bad, guy. Do you need a beer, Emery?
One in a glass with ice in it. Can I have some
Rock
ice
on,
in
bro.
the glass?
I don't have ice.
Need scotch. Oh, some water in the bottom.
What was that emblem you were trying to accomplish there? What was that? Pour it up. What's all about it?
Wow, the air conditioning just coming through.
I know, you felt that air coming here?
So back to drugs.
Back to drugs. Yeah, so we talked about heroin. We
Yes.
talked a little bit about marijuana. Here's a question I wanted to ask you about. So when we talk about things like that, so we talked about natural drugs, like things that come out of the ground, how they can be beneficial. What's your take on mushrooms?
Man, psychedelics.
Psychedelic drugs. So you already went to that route, like it's a psychedelic drug. Which, yeah, we all know that. But it is also grown from our planet,
Yeah.
So I mean, that also, I mean, I've heard good things about it. I've also heard that. I heard that, like, if you're like a schizophrenic, like if you have those kind of genes, that if you take mushrooms, it can actually enhance your time frame to when you would get it.
Oh, shit.
Like, you could come back from that trip and actually get your schizophrenia.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah, like that's happened. I actually know a couple people whose like brothers and sisters, like that shit's happened to, and like they didn't come back from it. It's pretty fucking tough. And that might have been acid though. Is it acid or is it mushrooms? Where
Get the scotch, please.
Oh yeah, I did bring the bottle in here. Oh, dope, dude. There you go.
What was the question?
Brad, is it acid or mushrooms where, like, if you have, like, the gene for, like, schizophrenia, where you take the drug, it could actually enhance the time frame that affects, like, you could come out of your trip and have schizophrenia?
Might be acid.
I think it might be acid, because that's more man-made and there's a lot more chemicals in that. But, I mean, shit, dude, mushrooms, that shit lasts, like, 8 hours from what I heard. Out of all the drugs that are out there, that's one I haven't tried. I mean, I'm not going to lie to people. I'm not going to lie to people on here and act like I'm fucking insane. I have done plenty of drugs. I'm not going to go ahead and name out all the drugs I've taken, but I've done my fair share. I don't anymore, for those people that are worried about it. But I've tried them. Psychedelics, not something I've tried. Oh my god, dude, this looks like a fucking bar over here.
Where everybody knows your name. Do, do, do.
Oh god, that's good. Cheers. Cheers, baby. Happy Labor Day, everybody. Because it is actually, it's 12:05. Happy Labor Day.
I'll grab another one.
But yeah, so I mean, 8 hours being in a trip, dude. Like, and,
That's pretty insane.
And
That's
Sounds awful.
Yeah, that sounds really
I
bad.
believe it was acid. There was a mathematician that actually like learned how to like do calculus from it. Let's get this. I want to delete it like crazy. There was like a mathematician that like figured out calculus with it, like acid.
Wow.
The guy that made Alice in Wonderland. I'm pretty sure he was on acid when he made that.
No kidding.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot. Don't get me wrong, a lot of creative shit comes from that stuff, but I think that at the same time, I think that could be helpful for some people if they have issues. Because, like I said, all drugs that usually came from like man-made, they were used to help with certain issue at hand, but it gets abused. So I mean, I'm not sure what the benefits were back in the day for acid or I think psychedelic mushrooms. I think those are to help people, and they're actually using it for some studies. And Brad, can you look it up? They're doing something to benefit people with mushrooms.
Yeah.
It's a lot of creative
and
people too. There's that artist that you have posters on.
yeah, Alex Gray. That guy's work. Yeah, that guy's a total hippie. He's totally like a Burning Man kind of dude.
Would you want me to look up?
But here's my argument for that.
What do you want me to look up?
Look up the benefits of doing psychedelic mushrooms that they're using to treat people. I forget what the condition is that they're using to treat people with. But I know that there's benefits in it, and it's another naturally grown thing. So I mean, would you consider that an addictive drug or a drug that is used to that is something people like? I mean, obviously we should stay away from drugs as much as possible.
Yeah.
But for the drugs that really need to be fucking like killed out, and we've lost all uses for them. Like they're unneeded. We do not need these like we talked about earlier, like speed,
Meth.
Adderall, meth, heroin.
These are
crack.
drugs that we do not need except when they're a controlled substance for somebody, like, say, they get their legs fucking blown off and they need literally...
They need Oxycontin to help them with the pain.
They need to get rid of the fucking knee pain. Like, yeah, for sure. And even then, like, they should be weaned off of it eventually. But yeah, I mean, what do you think of mushrooms? I mean, do they fall in that category of line of things that we need to get rid of in our society and that we need to get off the streets?
You know, I've known a few people who have done mushrooms, and they say that it's definitely an interesting experience, especially the one guy I knew. Huh?
Seems more ice.
No.
Go on, though.
Well, the one guy I knew, he said he really enjoyed eating on it. He thought it was the coolest experience.
Eating on mushrooms?
Yeah. No clue. I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know either. I've never done it myself.
But he did say that the high was a very long time.
Yeah, it's like 8 hours.
And then he ended up sleeping.
workday.
You end up sleeping through the rest of it, but the dreams that you have are like pretty lucid and crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that it's definitely not a great thing to put into your body. I mean, I don't think it does have any adverse health effects, but I
Joe
still.
Rogan was talking about his podcast the other day. I forget. That's why I wanted you to look it up. Like,
Well, it says, here's a study from clinical psychologist Ross Watts, PhD.
Ross Watts, PhD, people,
Okay.
a doctor of some sort.
It says that it's one of the leading researchers on mushrooms. It says that they're treating depression, anxiety, and he talks about the brain becomes more plastic. Oh, it's a she. She explains what happens when someone takes psychedelic mushrooms in a safe, controlled setting. Different parts of the brain talk to each other more than usual. We think this is why many study participants are able to break out of rigid, restricted patterns after the session. They often describe being able to see, feel, and do things in a different way.
Their minds are open more.
Yeah.
So they're more open. I mean, for people that have restricted themselves, depressed people that may not see another way out.
Yeah.
It says a lot of things, anxiety, all kinds
Yeah,
of
so it does have benefit.
Yeah.
It does have benefit. But, I mean, also, exercise is a fucking benefit for that kind of stuff. So it's kind of determining, when it's needed and when it's just an excuse to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can find plenty of people that are like, I'm depressed. Cocaine helps my issue with being depressed.
I think there's...
Compared to or you could go for a fucking walk.
Or you can address the issues that are causing you to
Yeah,
be
or you could go
depressed.
fix them, maybe try and figure out why you're...
That's the big thing, is
depressed.
I feel like ultimately my argument for drugs is the fact that if you have problems that are causing you to go towards drugs, you need to address the problems. You don't need to try to medicate your problems. And that's why I think depression
to crack
is...
down what the real issue is. 'Cause
Yeah.
a lot of the times it can get misconstrued.
And that's why I think
issues.
suicide and depression are such a big issue nowadays, is because we've been taught to medicate whatever problem it is with something else, whether it's our phones, whether it's a substance, whether it's a...
Where a lot of the depression could come from, it's situational and people just need to learn how to cope with these things. And so they're like, oh, you're depressed because you have a chemical imbalance. That's the reason you're depressed. It's not because, fucking your dad hit you when you were fucking 4 years old and you've been resenting him ever since. Like, no, you're depressed because you have a chemical imbalance. Like,
Yeah.
no, that's not the fucking case. You need to figure out what your issue is and figure out how to cope with it and deal with it, move on, and get stronger from it.
Yeah.
And dealing with your issues. And that's where I think drugs got their biggest popularity from, was people were able to see oh, hey, this is gonna get rid of my problems.
Yeah.
Cool. Like this is the Jesus in a bottle. This is the quick fix it pill. They throw it in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've taken Narcos, for my broken arm.
Yeah.
When my arm was fixed, I didn't want to stop taking them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made me feel good. I was numb. I just sat back. I could relax, and I didn't have a worry in the world when I had it because I had to deal with it. But once I was fixed, and when I got off of that shit, when I was back to playing baseball and everything again, once my arm was fixing up, when I got off that, the withdrawals were so awful.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh my god! I was like, is this what people gotta do?
Yeah.
I actually had it prescribed to me because I broke my arm.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't want to be on it again just because it was like, Jesus Christ! This is so hard for somebody that was given. This was the recommended amount from my doctor.
Yeah.
And when I got off of that, I felt withdrawals for 3 days, and then I was good. But during that 3 days, I was like, God damn, dude! No wonder it's so hard for people to get off of fucking drugs. These people are taking more than what I'm taking.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sure it takes twice as long for them to fucking get off of it with the withdrawal process. So I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm going to be stuck on this shit for a fucking long time if I was abusing it. I can't imagine abusing it. I was just taking the right amount. If I was taking more than that, I'd be taking a while to get off of that stuff.
it's crazy. You know, it's just, you know, they're painkillers. You know, and everybody just wants to quick fix it to their problems, except for actually facing the problems.
Yeah.
So I think that's one.
So I think the title of the broadcast should be "Facing Our Problems, Not Fixing."
Solutions.
Yeah, solutions.
There should be a slogan we need to make up. We need to make up slogans. Problems. Are they your problems or are they the pill's problems? Fix them. Ooh. Yeah, that could be it. That's a big, like, tongue twister.
You know, the big problem is too is like, especially. In our
Tell me,
community,
Brad, what is the big problem?
In the community, they're.
God damn it.
They're
like
like heroin and meth, and specifically our city.
And we know those are the big ones. Those are the big drugs.
In our city specifically, it's pretty
Specifically,
well
yeah.
known, unfortunately. The city's quick fix is putting in a methadone clinic, which doesn't solve the issue. It just it's a cheaper alternative. Sometimes the clinics give them out for free. It's essentially the same drug that they're taking already.
Yeah.
But then they started using that. So the addictive personality comment we were talking about earlier is what they need to control, not just giving them a substance to replace what they're using.
Yeah.
I forget what it is. I forget if it's alcohol or it's heroin. One of them you can withdraw without having any even small dosage of it, and you can survive. But there's one where you're going through the drugs that can kill you.
Heroin.
I'm pretty sure it's heroin.
Yeah.
Where if you don't get at least a little bit of that in your system to cope with, like, it can fucking kill you.
Yeah. My brother's best friend, going back to that
That's
story.
my family member had to deal with.
Yeah. My brother's best friend, going back to that story, his parents put him into rehab, and his big issue was he became addicted to the drugs that he was coming down with. So they prescribed him
It's like taking
medication.
nicotine gum and getting addicted to the nicotine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but nicotine gum isn't nearly remotely as powerful as, say, taking Oxycontin and then being prescribed Norco
Yeah.
afterwards, and then all of a sudden you're addicted to Norcos. Like,
It's a lower dosage, but it's not fixing the problem.
no, absolutely not.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. So I mean, and for the people out there that are watching or that are gonna watch this, hopefully, you know, if you're watching, you're learning some stuff about this and why you shouldn't do a lot of drugs, or you should at least look into it before you do it. Even if your doctor prescribes it to you, you should look into it. Get a second opinion, see if it's right for you.
Yeah.
One big thing that I could say that no one ever wants to deal with is seeing a parent that's lost a child to these kind of issues. A kid that I went to high school with, very smart kid, very funny kid, lit up the room, totally a great personality. He ended up passing away from drug overdose. The drug overdose isn't what killed him. Well, I mean, it played a part, though. It played a huge part, because he was high when he was driving, and he went straight through the windshield. Didn't have a seatbelt on, and he went straight through the windshield. He crashed, not into a car. He crashed into the shoulder. He crashed into the shoulder. Just concrete. Straight through shoulder of the freeway. And I talked to his dad about it, and it was a huge struggle for him. It was a big deal, and for the people out there that are taking drugs because they're going through issues too, remember who it will affect, whether you're here or not.
Yeah.
People that live on after you're gone, and they have to live with it. And if you do care about how they're gonna, if you do care about how they live their lives and stuff, know that it's a better place with you in it, not with you out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have an issue, you need to address it. Maybe at the end of this video, we can put up the phone number for, rehab facilities or whatnot. Some type of hotline.
The other thing is, if you know somebody who is struggling with addiction or is giving you those warning signs, it's important to address whoever you can about that. Maybe not necessarily talking to them, but talking to somebody who can help them. That's the best thing.
From a supportive standpoint, not from a judgmental standpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, back to where I was going with it, I didn't really get into it, but I met with the dad. I had never met the dad before. I knew the kid. I knew the kid because I went to high school with him, I had classes with him. And I met his dad, and I saw that he had the same last name as the kid that passed away. I was like, oh my God, I think that's his fucking dad. So I talked to him, and we just got in a normal conversation. I was like, I knew your son. And he was like, oh really, you knew my son? I was like, yeah, I knew him. I knew him for a good amount of time. He's a great guy. He, like I said to you, he lit up the room. He was a really smart, really intelligent kid. He was an athlete, played water polo.
he was a specimen. He was a great guy. And athletes. It's funny how we hear about these athletes that go through this. And his dad and I mean, it literally made his day when I was able to find some pictures that I had in my phone. I was able to find some pictures that of him that I remember. I told some stories, about his time that I got to share with him, and it was a really cool experience, and it was really humbling to see how his father had to deal with the loss of that. He also was dealing with divorce at the time too, and he was robbed at that point too. Yeah. He had enough shitty things going on.
Yeah,
and on top of that, he lost one of his children, or his only child that he had left, I believe, and he had prostate cancer too. So I mean, he was ready to live the rest of his life on a boat, and I hope he's doing well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's really hard to see that. We wish that upon nobody, that someone loses their son like that and has all these other issues going on. And he didn't look like he could make up anything. But he's going back to school, and he's learning how to relive his life. And, he's trying to find a way to live his best life, knowing that, it may not go on past that, and knowing that, he's not going to have the, children to live on his legacy. And he's got to kind of just find his way to, live his life and be happy and, understand, all these experiences, what they meant, in his life. And so, just so you know, for the people that out there that have drug abuse, know that there's people that love you. Know that there's people that want to help you, and that there is help for you. You're not alone. There are people that can help you. We will be putting up how to deal with these things and how who to talk to about this. I've dealt with plenty of rehab facilities. I'm going to a rehab facility tomorrow. There's people out there. There's help out there. If you have questions, you can send a message to us, DM us, email us, anything. I'd love to help all of you. As much as possible. I'm sure Emery, if you find him on his Instagram page, or Brandon, any of us would be more than happy to talk to you about it.
And I don't have a blocked Instagram page, so you can find me, I promise.
Mine's blocked, my personal one, but you can find me on this one.
You can message me anytime.
I used to have it unblocked, but people get crazy.
National Suicide Prevention Hotline. I got it.
National Suicide Prevention. So for suicide people, for drug abuse, we'll find the hotline for people with drug abuse, rehab facilities that you can go to, check into, call and find out how to deal with your habits and whatnot. With all that being said, I think I've been sweating balls enough in here.
Yeah.
Emery's been sweating enough balls in here. Brandon is always sweating balls, but even more in here.
Cheers, everyone.
Hey, happy Labor Day, everybody. Welcome back to Late Night with Mike. Thank you for coming. If you like this video, watch more of them. We got 5 other episodes. We've been at this for about a month and a half, which is great. Like, subscribe it, comment, hit the notifications bell. Hit that sucker. Fuck. We're gonna keep doing this.
Yeah,
we're having a great time, man. It's been crazy. It's getting better, better and better every time we do it. Pow! Pow! We're gonna keep getting better and better as we go along. Once again, our email is latenightswithmike@gmail.com. Late Night with Mike at Instagram, Facebook, Late Night W Mike at Twitter. Damn, dude, I think I got all those without even reading the damn book. I grabbed it and I didn't even see them. So, I think I got them all. Remember, you can contact us. You're not alone. And happy Labor Day, everybody. Brandon, Emery, thank you guys for being on the show. Thanks for having a great time with me. Love everybody's support here. Everybody have a great night.